megawatts have been installed. Now we are further, I'm going further ahead, and making life easier or making it possible for the poor also to, people who who are in the lower middle class also to go in for rooftops, and the poor. People who consume less than 300 units will also.
So let me come to that.
Yeah.
The specific question on that is how different is it? The Prime Minister Surya Yojna, which is now been announced and then again reiterated in the budget, and you've also spoken about it. How is it different in terms of incentives, etc.?
Manisha, it's very different.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. It's totally very different. You see, what happens is, what is happening is that now we have asked all our companies, central public sector undertakings, and I have about 7-8 of them. Now they'll all set up SPVs, and we have allotted them states. Now these companies will go to the householder, for all those who consume less than 300 units. Now, right now, what's happening is that the householder has to take all the initiative.
Correct.
He has to, that householder or he or she have to apply.
And then apply.
Then the DISCOM gives the clearance. Then they choose the vendor, and they don't know which vendor to choose. Then they have to apply for a loan. They have run to the bank, because we give subsidy. Right now, the subsidy is 40%. But for under this new scheme, for those consuming less than 300 units, the subsidy will be 60%.
Okay.
In the northeast, it will be 70%. The hilly states, it will be 70%. So earlier the subsidy was 40%. We've increased the subsidy. Now, even after giving 60% subsidy, 40% will be loan. Now imagine somebody in the lower middle class running around the banks to get loan. That was also a problem. Now the SPV, that central public sector undertaking, will be taking the loan. So they'll approach the householder, those consuming less than 300 units, and say that we'll set up a rooftop for you. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go to any bank. You don't have to take a loan. We'll take the loan. The subsidy I'm giving 60%. We'll set it up, and that loan is paid off by the excess number of units which are generated. Because if the demand, if the consumption is, let's say, 100 units or 200 units, so we'll set up capacity which will generate 400 units, double that size, and the extra units will go to pay off the loan. So the householder has to pay nothing. He has to do nothing. His electricity becomes free, and his electricity becomes green. The CPSE has set it up. Because it's a CPSE, therefore the quality is guaranteed, and we have an oversight mechanism, so the quality is guaranteed. They'll maintain it for 10 years.
That's an important aspect.
Yeah, they'll maintain it for 10 years till the loan is paid off. Thereafter, after 10 years, the whole system is handed over to the householder. Before that, they'll maintain it. The power will be consumed by the householder as is consuming right now. The difference being that now the power will be free. It's coming from that rooftop. There you are.
It's zero electricity bill. So this is fantastic.
Yes.
Now my next question to you is, how will you identify these 1 crore homes? So one is, of course, people who are consuming less than 300
that data
units.
Is available. The data of all available. Homes which are consuming less than 300 units per month is available. Is with the DISCOMs.
But they need the rooftop.
Yeah, but they need a rooftop. Now, we have thought about that. As far as the PM Awas Yojna homes are concerned, they have rooftops. They are Paka homes.
Correct. Yeah.
So 1,25,000, so actually that is the cost of that home. People have added some money, so it would be costing 1,50,000. Now, they have rooftops, all these PM Awas Yojna homes. About 3 crore homes have been completed already. So that's the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
But we also thought about those who still haven't got that Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojna. That's still 2 crore more homes. So what we have decided that we'll set up rooftops on stilts outside that hut, because that hut may not have enough rooftop. It will be inclined. It will be of straw, etc. So we'll set it up just outside that colony.
Something like the rent-a-roof. Gujarat has done rent-a-roof also. You're saying that you will actually build some rooftop.
We'll build it on stilts.
On stilts.
On stilts in that colony. Wherever we have a cluster of huts, we'll build it on stilts.
Okay.
But
then that leads me to my next question, and which is that it seems that it's a scheme tilted towards rural India. Urban households are very congested.
This is just a part of the scheme. This is just a part of the scheme.
Okay.
in the sense that, number one, anybody consuming less than 300 units is covered by that scheme, whether he lives in the village or whether he lives in the town.
Right.
They are covered. Now, the other consumers, the earlier scheme continues. But for the other consumers, again, you have one more alternative. Right now, you want to set up a rooftop. I want to set up a rooftop. Now, there are many questions which facing me. Number one, where do I apply? So we've solved it by that website.
Yes.
You go into the website and you just give your consumer number. The rest of the data is pulled from the discount.
It's so easy.
That is
it
so easy.
even throws up your cost. If you put your average bill,
Yeah.
you actually get the total cost of your installation and financing options.
Yes. So that is one. Then, that website has a list of the vendors.
Right.
Right. Now, we are taking one more step. We are now grading the vendors. So we have started a program under which we shall be giving ratings to the vendors. So you will have a list of vendors with star ratings. So you can select a vendor who has a high rating, higher credibility.
Yeah.
Higher credibility, and this rating is on the basis of feedback from the rooftop owners.
Okay.
So the rooftop set up by company X, how is it functioning? Is it functioning well? Is the quality well? So they'll give a feedback, a rating. So I know which vendor to select. So that's something which we are going to put in place. And then I have an option. I have also an SPV, a Central Public Sector Undertaking, SPV, which is government. And so they are also a vendor now for this category as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So the central government undertaking, reliable, they'll give the best quality modules, etc. And their guarantee is fine, and they'll not overcharge me. So these advantages are there. Then we've also put in place a system. We've sanctioned it. The order has issued under law for star rating of modules. So you can select that I want a 5-star module, which is the most efficient module.
Yeah.
And we'll also be giving the benchmark costs. So you'll not get cheated insofar as the vendor is concerned.
This is a big problem.
Major,
so far.
major. How do you know which vendor is good? You will not get cheated as far as benchmark costs are concerned. That will be there on the website. And you will not get cheated as far as the quality of equipment is concerned, because we'll be star rating them.
Right.
So all you have to do is to say that, okay, now I want a rooftop. Go to the website, fill in my consumer number. I get a drop-down list of the vendors. I pick one vendor. He comes, surveys it, and up to 15 kilowatts, we are saying that nahi sahab. So there is no requirement for a prior permission from the DISCOM.
Okay.
Right.
Up
So
to 15 kilowatts. That
15.
pretty much takes care of a very large capacity.
Yeah.
Even the rich can install in their farmhouses. I mean,
Yes,
15
yes.
kilowatt is
It's
huge. You
quite a
can
bit.
run 3 or 4 ACs on it. That
Absolutely. And then, he comes and sets it up. And then after he sets up, then there is the DISCOM will inspect and says it's fine. That is necessary. And the subsidy gets transferred automatically to the vendor.
Household.
To the vendor.
Or to the vendor.
Or to the household, as you prefer.
Okay.
That's what.
So here's my next question. Despite all the incentives and despite it becoming so much easier, right, the awareness still seems to be low. I speak to a lot of my friends who own farmhouses.
In fact, you are absolutely right. Now,
how do we get them? I mean, for them, 5.5 lakh rupees or even 7 lakh rupees, right, for about a 5 to 6 kilowatt is not big.
You are absolutely right. And we have decided to roll out a program for communication. So we are going to come out with hoardings. Now they have the designs of the hoardings ready. So they have been asking me for time to, so that I can clear those hoardings. So those hoardings will come up, which will say the advantages which you will get if you put up a rooftop. Number one. One major advantage, of course, is that you'll be going green, and the burden on the climate will be less.
Right.
Your per capita emission will also be less. The other major advantage is that your electricity bill will come down to 0 or near 0, dydx 0. So that's the major. So this is what we are going to set up everywhere, all towns, all cities, etc.
Okay.
Communication.
So I'm sure you've gone through the CEEW report, which says that 25 crore households in India do have the capacity to have rooftop solar systems installed, right? And if you take this number of 1 crore under the Surya Yojna, that's another 25 gigawatt of solar energy. About 20 to 25 you will meet with that. 10 you already are at. But suppose this takes off, then you actually have the potential of reaching 100 gigawatt by just rooftop solar. Mr. Singh, do you really see that happening? Do you think that is something which will be a priority for the ministry?
This is bound to happen. This is bound to happen. And incidentally, even my other capacity, the renewable energy, my renewable energy program is one of the fastest growing in the world. So I already have about 180 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity installed. About 103 gigawatts is under installation.
Right.
And about 71 gigawatts is under bid. So I mean, as far as
already beyond the boundary. I mean,
now
hit beyond the boundary.
When interlocutors from the developed countries, ministers of the developed countries talk to me, it's they who are on the defensive because I have done so much. Yeah, not us.
When we return, we ask Mr. Singh, how can we broad-base the adoption of rooftop solar beyond the low-income families? After all, there's no reason why the well-off and upper-income households which do have independent homes can't adopt greener, cleaner energy options. Stay with us.
You're invited to imagine what's next. What the next view you wake up to will be. Where your next adventures will start from. Your perfect space to entertain. And your sanctuary to unwind in. As you begin to imagine your new place, we'll be here to help you find it. Because nothing compares to what's next. Sotheby'sRealty.com.
You're saying that with all of these, including the awareness, the well-off and the rich are going to be enthused to move to rooftop solar?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, everybody will. Everybody will. They just need to know how to do it. Right now, you ask an average householder that, okay, now you want to go solar? He'll say yes, but I don't know how.
How to do it. So awareness is critical.
Yeah.
How will you resolve that inherent reluctance in discoms and distribute? Yeah, for them it's a major loss of revenue.
We've been
so how do we do that?
Just look at the benefits which we are placing in front of them. Number one, what's happening is that as far as the lower middle class and the poorer households are concerned, we are covering them by this program, Surya the program. Now, that means that the households which were earlier subsidized, where a lot of subsidized electricity was going, now that the burden of subsidy has been taken up.
Yes, of
course. Has been taken away.
And it's a big one.
It's a major one. You see, the collection, the billing and collection efficiency in this category was low.
Yeah.
Of course, the rates of power rates were also low because of cross subsidy. So they were cross subsidy takers. So that we are taking away. So that is a major relief for the distribution companies. The other thing which I see is that, which is an ally in going green, is that my demand is going. And the demand is growing at about 9%. The fastest way of meeting that demand is rooftop. Because if I bid out grid scale solar, it takes me about 24 months, maybe actually 18 months to 20 months. That is grid scale solar. This, you put it up, in 5 months, 6 months, you can set up hundreds and hundreds of megawatts and thousands of megawatts.
Yes.
All that needs to be done is to sort of, make it simpler, make life easy for setting up rooftop. Once you do so, basically a lot of burden of the discoms is going to get taken away. There is one factor which we are thinking of addressing, and that is this net metering.
Yes.
Right now we have permitted net metering up to 500
I didn't have to
kilowatts.
ask you
Up
that
to 500
question.
kilowatts. I think that's a bit much. So I plan to reduce that 500 kilowatts to net metering up to, let us say, maybe 5 kilowatts, or and then beyond that, because above 5 kilowatts you don't need net metering, you have gross billing or gross metering. Now gross metering, the DISCOM doesn't lose anything, because the whatever power is generated by the rooftop during the day, that is priced at a rate at which it should be priced, and the power which is being supplied by the DISCOM during peak hours will be priced as it should be priced.
Right.
Right. So then the DISCOM doesn't lose. So that disincentive goes away. So you'll see this happening.
All right. This 1 crore household target for rooftop solar, what's the end date, sir? And we'll conclude on that.
We haven't really announced the end date, but we'll do it. Very pretty rapidly, because I don't think it should take us more than maybe 1.5 years or 2 years, especially if we are going to target the PMAY
households.
Yes.
Do you need any state support? Do you need states also to be equally invested in it,
Yes,
or you can do it as center by yourself?
Because the DISCOMs belong to them.
They're them, of course.
So they need to get into an MOU with the CPSUs, which will provide for the distribution companies paying for the surplus power which is injected.
Correct.
And the rate at which that payment is made must be fair to both sides, to the DISCOM as well as the CPSU, so that loan which the CPSU has taken is paid off in time.
Thank you so much, Minister Singh.
It's a pleasure.
That's
It's a
pleasure
pleasure.
speaking
It's
with
a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.